Hi, this is Jeff with Birder's Diary. In this video tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate importing sightings from BirdLog. BirdLog is a commonly used mobile app available on iOS and Android. It was the first mobile app for recording your bird sightings out in the field and then uploading them to eBird. BirdLog can also email you a complete list of your sightings along with a CSV file. CSV stands for comma separated values. You can quickly import this file and all of its sighting data into Birder's Diary version 4.1. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is to email the BirdLog checklist to yourself. You can do this from the submission page by using the email checklist button. Next, wait for your email to arrive on your computer. Once it arrives, save the attached CSV file to your local disk drive. This is the file we will import into Birder's Diary. Now start Birder's Diary if it's not already running. Okay. Open the import window by choosing File, Import Export from the main menu. Click on the Sightings tab as we are going to be importing sightings. Choose the Import Sightings from eBird formatted CSV file option as shown here. Select the taxonomy to use for name matching. We'll use Clements 2015. Next, select the observer to assign these sightings to. In this case, I created a BirdLog observer just for this purpose. Optionally, choose any of the three options below. Now click the Import button and choose the file that you receive from BirdLog and save to disk. In this example, I'm going to save one I used from a recent trip to Bosque del Apache in New Mexico. Once you click the Open button, the import process will start. Before we start the import process, I want to tell you something about the data found in the BirdLog CSV file. Each BirdLog file usually contains a latitude and longitude of the sighting location that you selected. In addition, there is other information such as the eBird protocol used. You can capture that data if you create user-defined fields ahead of the import with the proper names. I have done this here. So if we open the user-defined sightings data window here under the View option in the main menu, you'll see that I have three user-defined fields defined. They're all text. One's latitude, the other's longitude, and the other is eBird space protocol. The abbreviation can also be used to match, but in this case it's arbitrary. Okay? My point is here, if you have those defined ahead of time, then importing BirdLog data will capture that information for each sighting. So let's close this. Let's start the import. I'll select from a recent trip I took to Bosque del Apache in New Mexico, and we'll import that. Once you click the Open button, the import process will start. Now here's the first question. So all these sightings for Bosque del Apache, since this is a new database, I have not yet defined my location hierarchy, and there's no location named Bosque del Apache in my location tree. There are several options to choose from here. One is the default specify an existing location as the parent. I could just specify New Mexico here, and it will create Bosque del Apache location and place it under New Mexico. But I like to keep things organized within counties of each state. So I'm going to use the option that says specify existing location and add sublocations. It's all explained right here, and there's more help on it if you press F1. But to show you how this works for this one, the existing location is New Mexico. The sublocation is going to be the county that Bosque del Apache is in, which is Socorro County, New Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. So what this will do is it will create Socorro County, New Mexico location and place it under New Mexico. Then it will create Bosque del Apache and place it under Socorro. I'll click Continue. Excellent. So now here's something. This particular name, as I entered it in BirdLog, doesn't match a name in the Clements taxonomic list we have here. Rock pigeon, feral pigeon. So you want to do a match for it. In this case, Clements just knows it as rock pigeon. This rock pigeon, feral pigeon is kind of an eBird invention. Okay, so we put that in and we say use selection. Oh, wait a second. Rock pigeon can mean more than one thing. Which one did you mean? Well, I meant this one right here, the Clements 2015 rock pigeon. So I'll say that one and I'll click continue. Here's another excellent example. Here's a spew, a raven species. Now, that's a raven that was not identified to the specific level, to the species level. We can add that to our taxonomic list. And then it will always be there and then can be used and automatically imported from here on out whenever you record something in BirdLog called raven species or raven spew. So let's go ahead and do that. Create new thing. Here we go. Taxonomic list 2015, common name raven species. What we're going to do is we're just going to go all the way down to Corvus. Okay, so that's what a spew is. It's identified to the level of genus, not to the level of species. This is not countable on a life list. And let's add a few checklist locations for it. I know I see them in New Mexico. I know I see them in Colorado, both common and Chihuahuan ravens. So let's go ahead and add that. We'll click add. And up comes another mismatch. Dark-eyed Junco, Oregon. I can go ahead and assign this to just dark-eyed Junco if I want. Or I can go ahead and specify the subspecies. In this case, Schufelti. Okay, so let's assign that to that. Use selection. Here's another example. This is what's known as a slash in eBird terminology. And I want to add that. Sometimes I don't know if I saw a western or eastern meadowlark. So I'm going to create that new thing. So I'll show you how we do this one. We're going to create a new thing. It's already named Western Eastern Meadowlark. We're going to come down and we're going to just supply the genus. Once you supply the genus, it'll fill in the rest. Sternella. Now what about the species? Well, with the species, this is why this is called a slash. Neglecta / magna. Okay? Again, not countable. I did not identify it to species, but I know it's one of two. Let's go ahead and add a couple there, or just New Mexico. And we'll say add. It's going to ask you for a little information here. Western / Eastern Meadowlark. Just for comment purposes. And we're done. We added 51 sightings records out of 51 total records. Perfect. So let's see. It's got to rebuild the location performance table because we added Bosque del Apache. Okay. Now, let's take a look, first of all, at the location it created. If I type in Bosque, automatically completes and rolls it down. You see it did what I expected it to do. Under New Mexico, it created Socorro County. Under that, it placed Bosque del Apache. Okay, so let's close that. Now let's take a look at the sightings. Bring that up, select my BirdLog observer, select Clements 2015, sort by taxonomic ascending, date ascending, continue. There's our sightings. There's our latitude and our longitude, our eBird protocol, count, min count in this example, I've hidden max count, location, the observer, when seen, and the name. We've just imported all those sightings. Now I want to show you what that looks like on the taxonomic list that we just added a spew and a slash to the taxonomic list. Let's close this. Let's open up the taxonomic viewer. F. Clements 15. Let's load it. Now we're going to search on Raven Spa. Okay? Let's find that guy. Expands the tree to get down to this, and what we'll see is we have a spew or spa, however you pronounce that, right here into Corvus. There's raven species. The same thing with the western, eastern, meadowlark. What you're going to see here, this is how it's defined. Western/eastern meadowlark. Now another thing worth pointing out is, since we created those things, let's say you often go out and you record ravens as just raven spew. Because, let's face it, it's very difficult to tell the difference between a common raven and Chihuahuan raven. I want to show you that if we import those same sightings again, it will not ask us about those two species. So let's try it again, just to prove my point. Let's select that. Let's select Clements 15. Click Import. Choose the very same file again. Here's rock pigeon. Now see, since this is a different import, it doesn't remember that rock pigeon parentheses feral pigeon equals the rock pigeon we want. But you won't get asked about the raven spew or the eastern/western meadowlark. We'll come down here and choose the rock pigeon we mean. Again with the dark-eyed junco. This is not something we created. It's just something where the names differ between BirdLog and the official Clements taxonomic list, which Birder's Diary adheres to 100%. Notice here we can use scientific names if we like. We don't have to use common names. All 51 sightings imported. Let's go take a look at those sightings. Again with BirdLog, Clements 2015, we click Continue. Let's find the raven and there's the two raven species spews sightings. Remember, it didn't ask us to enter the second one now because we've created that raven spew. And then the same thing down here with the eastern/western meadowlark. Didn't ask us again on that because we created that thing. So when you create a spew or a splash or a hybrid, it remembers it and you won't be asked again on the next import. I hope you found this informative.